The 6 to 7 Figure Show, episode 53. Let's hit it.
Broadcasting from the Valley of the Sun outside Phoenix, Arizona. This is the 6 to 7 Figure Show. Tired of working so hard and having no time? Take your six-figure practice and turn it to a thriving seven-figure enterprise. And now, your host, author, speaker, mentor, and strategist, Frank Bria.
Hey everyone, welcome to the 6 to 7 Figure Show. I'm your host, Frank Bria, and today we are going to have a special episode, a series of trainings that we are talking about, which are going to be the 12 critical projects that you need to execute in your business in order to hit 100K a month in your service business using a high-ticket program. There's a lot of focus that we spend on the design up front, but we are going to be focusing on one of those projects today. So we're going to cut over to training on one of those projects. And after the training's done, come back, hang with us, and I will give you a way for you to get a copy of some of this training for yourself. And we'll turn it over to there. Hey, everybody, Frank Bria here, going live on day 6 of the 12 projects that you need to get to 7 figures. Today, we're going to talk about lead generation ads. Okay, so the purpose of a lead generation ad campaign, obviously, is to build some kind of a paid advertising traffic flow that drives traffic into your lead magnet funnel, which we've kind of already talked about. Now, I just want to be really clear about something. I am not going to train you on how to build Facebook ads. That is not what this is about. In fact, I don't train people in how to build Facebook ads, and I don't build Facebook ads, and neither should you, unless, of course, that's your business. If you're a Facebook ad expert, then yeah, go do that. But otherwise, no, do not go learn how to build Facebook ads. Go hire somebody, seriously. And if you can't afford to hire somebody, then you are not ready to run an ad campaign. That's almost a certainty. We're going to talk about that a little bit today. What this will be a discussion about is when you should begin this project, okay? The things that you need to watch out along the way for the project and things that will help you manage that ads manager as you go, because that's your job as CEO. Your job is to manage the project, not to execute the project. So I want to be really clear about that. This is one of those projects where I really, really, really do not like my folks doing the work, okay? Go hire someone to do the work. All right, step 1. So when to begin the project? That's the question. All right, so this is a thing where a lot of people make a mistake. You don't want to begin paid ads too early. Okay, ads are essentially automation. That means they should be doing something that you could already do manually if you wanted to. So you need to test your messaging out in other venues, like on Facebook or LinkedIn or somewhere else, to see if it attracts people you don't know. I mean, go do that manually. You don't need to pay ads to do that. Go post something on LinkedIn and use some hashtags and see if you can get some engagement. Regardless of how small that engagement may be, you want to be able to attract people, because if you can't, it's not going to work by just throwing money at it. And this is a big mistake that a lot of people make, is that they substitute ads for networking. Okay, if your message doesn't work via networking, if you can't generate that interest, then paying for it's not going to help. And that's a big issue, because ads should basically be scaled networking. That's what it should be. But a lot of people try to skip over the networking part, don't want to talk to people, try to make this all about you hiding behind your computer. That is not going to be successful, okay? So there's no one right answer of when it's right to begin paid ads, but I really prefer that you have your entire funnel built. So all of the funnel projects that we've talked about so far, those need to be completed, not just your lead generation funnel. Some people say, well, I'm going to build a lead magnet and start getting people in, and then we'll go from there. But that's not useful, because then you're just collecting email addresses and you aren't indoctrinating them or talking to them or encouraging them to do anything. It's just throwing money away, okay? So you should try to generate about $100,000 of revenue in your high ticket program before you start running ads. I know that's kind of a shocker for a lot of people. I'm not saying you have to be $100,000 a year. I'm just saying validate your program by actually selling it to people first. Okay. Now, sometimes you need to run ads to start. Okay. But I'd be really cautious about that if that's where you think you are. There are some situations where that's the case. But paying for ads is a horrible way to validate your messaging. So at least go do that first. Even if you need to use ads to start building an audience, talk to human beings through validation calls. Okay. So I don't want you to get the impression that ads are bad. That's not what it is. There's just a time and place for them. And I just think that most entrepreneurs start too soon. So just be careful about where you are in your business when you get started. All right. So once you actually launch the project of doing lead generation ads, there are a couple of things I want you to pay attention to as the project goes along. Number one, well, we'll talk about a few, but the overarching is the metric. Now, when you run ads, run paid advertising, ad managers like to throw lots of different metrics at you. They're going to throw all sorts of numbers. I'm telling you, there's only one metric that you as the CEO should care about, and that's cost per customer acquisition. Okay. How much does it cost you to sign up a new customer through your ad campaign? I don't care about lead cost, cost of view, cost per click. None of those actually matter to the CEO. The only thing that matters is the total amount you spend to acquire a new customer through your Facebook ad. Okay, that's it. Now, your Facebook ad person, your manager should care about all those metrics, okay, because they actually help them get everything organized and figured out and optimize the campaign. So those metrics help them kind of figure out where in the funnel things are going off and if they have to change the targeting and the messaging and all that stuff. But you as the CEO should only care about one thing and one thing only. How much does it cost you to sign up a new customer? All right. Now, here are a couple of things you need to be prepared for along the way as you execute this lead magnet ad project. Okay. First of all, be prepared to invest a few $1,000s in testing. Okay, I know no one wants to hear that, but actually is going to take you some time to actually test out your campaign, and the first few $1,000s are going to go out the door without anything necessarily coming back in. Be prepped for that. It happens. Okay, if you can't afford to lose a few $1,000s, you're not ready to run ads yet. 2, even if you're not going to be retargeting, start to pixel the audience as if you were. Now, any good ad manager is going to make sure that you do that. But as you're thinking through, build the audience and pixeling for retargeting, even if you don't run those retargeting ads. You're going to need that later. Number 3, track the metrics incessantly. Okay, now I'm not talking necessarily about all the different like ad metrics, but the metrics in your funnel. How many leads, how many new email addresses, how many calls scheduled, how many no-shows, how many rescheduled, how many calls did you have, how many people did you close? Track them all the time. Always know your cost per customer acquisition. That is the number when it comes to advertising campaigns. Okay. So you just need to do the work to make sure these numbers are getting tracked. Don't blow it off. It's really important. And number 4, ad campaigns fade. Even really good ones will eventually die out and they don't work anymore. Your ads manager should be able to handle it, but watch for the drop off. And what you're watching for is that your cost per customer acquisition goes up. And if your manager isn't on that, like if you have to bring it up to them, then go fire them and get a new manager. That's their job. So make sure you take care of that. All right. So step 3, setting your expectations. I just want to give you the sense of this particular project. It could take you 4 to 6 weeks to dial in a lead generation ad campaign. Doesn't always, but it could. And regardless of the platform, I don't care if it's Facebook or AdWords or YouTube or whatever, custom ad platform, it's going to take time. Now, if you haven't validated your offer, your pain points, your messaging with your audience, it's going to take even longer than that. So it takes time regardless, but be patient. Okay. So you have to be patient with an ad campaign, but don't be naive. So a lot of people say, well, it takes time, so I'm just going to ignore it. Don't ignore it. Look for forward progress in your metrics. You want to make sure you're making progress. look for learnings. And even if you or your ad manager blow it on a campaign, it's totally fine. Just make sure you learn something that you're not going to do again. Okay. You need to be paying attention. All right. So when is this project done? When is it stable? When can you kind of say, okay, we're launched and we're good? You're shooting for a total cost of customer acquisition at about 20% of your revenue or less. So if you're charging $1,000 for a customer, you don't want to spend more than $200. Now, if you're running just lead generation ads, keep in mind that eventually your audience is going to need more from you. You're going to have to kick it up in terms of retargeting and some other projects. So don't spend the full 20% here. But lead generation does take up the bulk of the cost. And so 15% might be appropriate. So keep in mind that that's your metric. You're trying to get the cost of customer acquisition below 15% of revenue. Once you've achieved that metric, you're ready to basically call this project done and move your ad campaign into maintenance mode. It's going to keep going. You keep monitoring it, but you're not going to have to actively optimize it as much. All right. Hopefully that's helpful. Again, a project of this nature requires you to basically bring in someone and hire them. Don't do this yourself. Don't go off. Please do not go take some Facebook ad course and do this if you're the CEO of some other business. Now, if you want to be a marketer, if you're a Facebook ad person, of course, you should learn how to do this. But you really need to find a good Facebook ad manager. So if you want suggestions on that, by the way, I have a couple of good people that aren't horribly expensive, but are like incredibly good, very high quality. I'm happy to talk with you about that. All right, everyone. It is great to see you here. We will talk with you soon. We're halfway through. 6 of the projects are down. Can't wait for us to do the remaining 6 so you know exactly what is in front of you as you head to 7 figures. All right. Thanks, everyone, for being here. We will talk to you again soon. Take care. Bye. All right, everyone, that's it for today. And 2 things that you want to do. Number 1, if you have not had a chance to join our Facebook group, you need to be able to do that. This is really where we're going to be discussing a lot of this stuff in detail. You can actually, in the Facebook group, get written documentation of the project that we just discussed. So where you want to go to is facebook.com/groups/high ticket program. All together in one word, no breaks, no dashes, high ticket program. So facebook.com/groups/high ticket program. That link is below the video or in the show notes page. If you're out and about listening audio, come on back to click on through and join. Absolutely free. Other thing that we want to offer you is called our 12-week high ticket program Black Book. This is over 60 pages of standard operating procedures for designing, launching, executing your high ticket program. The way you get that is you go to frankbria.com/blackbook. Again, the link is below here for you to grab that. High ticket program is our Facebook group. The Black Book is our free 60-page standard operating manual for how to run a group program. Go get that at frankbria.com/blackbook, and we will see you there. Thanks again so much for being with us today. We're going to have great content again coming up soon, so stick with us for our next episode, and we'll see you soon. All right, everyone, take care. Bye-bye.